about Tim and the God particle. I used to work in the tunnels at Cern, this is why I don't anymore. I have a fear what lies in the shadows. But after a experiment at Cern I had to leave, and now because I am speaking out about this subject, something may happen to me. I have asked Paranoid Times to withhold my name as well as to hold on to this story for 2 years before turning this into a video and making it public. A note from Paranoid Times, we did as he asked, he was a dear friend. Sometime after me and him spoke, he was found dead in a swimming pool with a colleague from Cern as well. Just the night before we spoke on the phone. Things seemed as they should. Anyway, out of respect to his family and that of his colleague, we have decided to withhold the names. Now back to his story. Nobody knows where they are or what they are, but we do know that they lurk just out of sight. I am still unsure about what I saw all those years ago. Nor do I know the happenings that occurred after the hideous thing showed its face. But I do know that it's still out there. Watching me, watching you. I have enlisted help of a dear friend, in the attempt to try to figure out what this is. All I want is help finding out what the monster I saw could possibly be, or the truth behind the most toxic particle created. We should start on the date July 4, 2012, when it all began. There were rumors of a brand new particle being discovered by use of the ATLAS and CMS experiments at Cern's Large Hadron Collider. As one physicist at Cern said, we have found God. I was amazed. It was beautiful. From the computer in my office on the lower level, the data showed that it glowed bright purple to pink and gleamed with incredible luster. Almost like a diamond from heaven, if such a place really exists. It was a particle that had been hiding in plain sight, so to say. On that day there was a Tim issue, the little robot that keeps an eye on what we call the tubes that are in the tunnels of Cern. No one likes to go to the tunnels. Supposedly they are one of the most haunted places on Earth, one of the reasons we installed Tim, or so I am told. The first sample was found near the old temple that has been said to be haunted by the spirits of all the men and women who died there. I found a red door once. Past the door was what looked like a set of stairs, and a dark old town of sorts. When they installed the tubes on the level below, peaks of the building would create the only visible light in this underworldly cave. Apparently when the device starts, there is a reaction in something in the temple and other buildings. Returning to my office I found a new memo. They were having a lecture, of the record at Cern's main restaurant, imaginatively named Restaurant 1, and is a vital part of the life of any physicist on the campus. At any moment, weekends and nights included, you'll find groups of young, enthusiastic students chattering animatedly about their work, or individuals hunched over laptops, clutching coffee and wearing huge headphones. One of the things I have noticed lately, there are 1 or 2 military guys looking over or watching the group. One was even making notes on a Microsoft Surface. Normally this would have been a detail that I would have let go. But I have a Surface, and have had a few. Each of them have a silver back. The ones they were using had a solid, almost glossy black back. For some reason I find this very odd. My obsession with this little detail led me to calling Microsoft main campus and asking if such a device was ever made. According to a number of people I spoke with, no such a device was ever made. The memo. In regards to the Higgs boson. Name, the Higgs boson. Properties, unknown. Facts, on July 4, 2012, the ATLAS and CMS experiments at Cern's Large Hadron Collider announced they had each observed a new particle in the mass region around 126 GeV. This particle is consistent with the Higgs boson predicted by the Standard Model. The Higgs boson, as proposed within the Standard Model, is the simplest manifestation of the Brout-Englert-Higgs mechanism. Other types of Higgs bosons are predicted by other theories that go beyond the Standard Model. On October 8, 2013, the Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded jointly to François Englert and Peter Higgs for the theoretical discovery of a mechanism that contributes to our understanding of the origin of massive subatomic particles, and which recently was confirmed through the discovery of the predicted fundamental particle, by the ATLAS and CMS experiments at Cern's Large Hadron Collider. One of the research scientists who discovered the particle had been poisoned by unknown means and killed one of the other 5 whom was on the project, later dying from what one has called particle entanglement or quantum entanglement. This is a physical phenomenon that occurs when pairs or groups of particles are generated or interact in ways such that the quantum state of each particle cannot be described independently of the others, even when the particles are separated by a large distance. Instead, a quantum state must be described for the system as a whole. I refreshed the page to find the chosen name. I was shocked by how quickly the page had been updated and how much had been added to the page. But I also noticed something very abnormal about the particle. In one of the comments left under the memo, it was stated that it has the power to corrupt objects, summon demonic entities, and anger spirits. I wrote it off as gossip and continued reading the page. The name they chose was the God particle, and it was found to be more reactive than fluoride, formerly the most reactive element known to mankind. Wondering to myself why they would unleash something on mankind that reacts to a very common product, found almost everywhere. The next day things started to become strange. Event number 1, the ghost robot. Testing on the particle began when it was shown to be able to possess the non-living and bring it to life. There were many unknown experimental robots that were never perfected. The parts were all there, but they just didn't move. The robots were called tunnel bots. The train inspection monorail, or what has been lovingly called TIM. TIM is a mini vehicle transporting a set of instruments along tracks suspended from the tunnel's ceiling. This smart machine is used for real-time monitoring of the LHC tunnel, the tunnel structure, the oxygen percentage, the communication bandwidth and the temperature. They had no drivers to prevent tragedies that might occur if one were to glitch out. Instead, they were remote-controlled from a distance. All of the robots were very large. Sometime after the particle was discovered, people started to report strange sounds from the tunnel's shadows that would move on their own. The reports were so bad, they installed visual and infrared imaging on TIM. Time would show us that TIM took a life on it on. And then there was life. They were testing the new particle and found that it was a unique power source, not only granting life, but granting emotions. The first robot to be tested on was TIM. The large metal can had been waiting around for too long to be abandoned. The shard was slid into what was meant to resemble its arm, and not long after it took effect the robot started off and began looking around at its surroundings in confusion. This would have been the greatest scientific advancement in history if not for the malfunction. My friend at the facility, Jimmy, had the worst luck of any of us. TIM slowly raised its arm as if being preparing to tap him on the shoulder. I was upset by this. It could have forgotten about the lethal weapon built into its hand. It turned on the blades, even more startling, and it quickly dropped its arm onto Jimmy. Blood splattered all over the mechanical robot as it sawed deep into my dear friend. It had made its first kill. It seemed to enjoy this, and I didn't want to stay a minute longer. I got up off my chair, and ran as fast as my legs could possibly carry me. I passed the other physicist while making my escape. I heard its loud metal-on-metal sound it made as it moved down the rail. To go past me, reassuring my safety. I got news that it had been taken down by the automatic system and reprogrammed. But how do you reprogram something that is alive, I thought. Event number 2, it's alive. A year had passed since the ghost robot event, and experiments resumed on the tunnel bots. Things were different this time. Shadows oozed from TIM's tracks. One would think it took pleasure in its deed and escaped through the wall. Moving about the building at Cern. It ignored everyone else that it encountered, speeding for the door in a successful escape attempt. Reports came in from around the main campus. People were being attacked by simple things like cell phones, and toaster ovens. Microwaves would take a life of their own. We knew they were still out there attacking the people. This was the most terrifying event in Cern's history, yet forgotten by the public for so long. It's amazing what they can bury in paperwork and red tape. And then it stopped. At night I could see its glowing eyes staring back at me even while it crept into the darkness. Event number 3, it's back. But it wasn't over yet. We found that out the hard way. Many years after the event, people in New York had reported seeing things stalking them. They were all described to have two large, dragon-like wings, a sadistic grin that filled their large, long faces, and purple eyes. Some say it's the devil. It was later found out to be one individual creature rather than many similar ones. Shadows can take any form they wish. My message to you: they are still here. We know that he will never go away, and will be lurking in the shadows with this corrupted works of terror, ready to emerge and take us out one by one. And to this day, nobody knows the dark secrets left behind at Cern, or the horrifying elements found in nature that we dare not speak of, or why it caused such aggressive and violent behavior. Be careful the science we play with, sometimes the science plays with us. Stay paranoid, my friends.